What's up, fantasy community? How y'all doing? This is your host Michael from Proper Things. Well, I know the game just launched this week and everyone excited. And if you all need help, as promised, we have the 20 team spectacular to help with all your picks. We have special categories catered for all your needs. And I don't have a special guest this week, I have a co-host. And we coming live from Starbucks in Extra Plaza Shoguners. So come check them out. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more fire content. FPL community, how y'all doing today? Welcome to episode 2 of Proper Things, the FPL show brought to you by the TT FPL Pro-League. I know it's a little overcast this morning, but the game launched and I know excitement around in it. I know y'all asked about him after episode 1, so he's not a guest this morning, He's the co-host, the creator of the TT FPL Pro-League, Ezra Ramdeen. How are you doing today?
Yeah, man. Good day, Michael. Good day, everybody in the FPL community. Glad to be on the show. Proper Things, episode 2, man.
Well, you see the man more excited than me it look like, because he come through with his kit. Things ain't launched yet, but you have it.
To make sure they can see it properly, and then ask my side.
So you know the man is a proper fan. So Ezra, you excited about the game?
Yeah. I'm really excited about the game already. Signed up. I have a first draft already there. More on that at the end of the video. You'll see me and Michael first draft at the end. Somebody messaged me on my Instagram recently and tell me he didn't sign up for the FPL as yet because he want to enjoy a couple more days stress-free. But me personally, I like to just get the stress one time and get over with one time. So yeah, I already signed up, have my team signed up already, have a first draft ready and excited for the season, man.
And Ezra, I know about you, but I was on work when the game launched. And people hanging on my phone. I swear it's an accident happened home, somebody needs something. When I do look, it's people asking me about low ID, if I sign up, who I picking, all them things. I say, you know what? I need to reach home first to eat our dinner and then log in and do this thing for dinner. So, you know the man promised a lot of things. Money, courier, trophy, and all those things. When the man tell me we cannot film the launch episode home, say bring him out. So we out here at Starbucks in Extra Plaza Shoguners to do proper things for y'all. So, Ezra, quickly, because I know your phone busy, people are ringing here. People want to know how to join the league and they're signing up. So quickly, could you just remind the viewers about, how to join the league?
Yeah, man, no problem. The TT FPL Pro-League, this is our inaugural year. We're looking to come out with a very serious FPL Pro-League. For not only for serious players, I want you to play FPL in the region. I want you to join the league and test your skills against some of the best managers within the country and the wider region. We have 3 methods to sign up. We're trying to make the league as easy as possible for anybody to sign up. So you can either WhatsApp me at 327-1269. You'll see the number on the screen here now. And I'll contact you directly and talk about joining you up in the league there. You could also email us at ttfplproleague@gmail.com. Somebody will contact you directly there to process payments. Just show interest in joining the league. And you could also, in the bio of our Instagram page, FPL_Ezra. If you're not following, go and follow it now. I'll wait for you. Alright, you come back, you follow it. So now that you follow it, in the bio of that Instagram page, you'll see a link. You can follow it. Follow that link and it'll carry you straight to a Google's form where you can sign up, and once you sign up, somebody will contact you about processing payments and send you the league code to join, and you can compete right away against some of the best managers in the country. So yeah, join the TT FPL Pro League. I promise you that is going to be a great experience for you. You'll grow as an FPL player and you'll develop more. So yeah, join the league, man, everybody.
Right, and don't forget 10K trophy banter Euros next year are coming by the winner. Hopefully it's me, so they could come to, I ain't gonna stress all that.
Yeah, 10,000 for the winner and also the TT FPL Pro League trophy. So 5 for the trophy, 5 for the 10 bands, and yeah, sign up for the league, man.
Nice. So with that covered, now we getting into the real action. I know when everyone picking the first team, it could be a little nerve-wracking because you don't want to, come last, you don't want to get the banter early, work starting, school starting, and you know it's pressure in the August, pressure in the September because things hot. And I ever seen you can't win the league in game week 1, but you sure could lose our league in game week 1. So today we have the 1 hour special as promised. We're previewing from Arsenal, the Gunners, straight down to Wolverhampton, the Wolves themselves. We have you all covered. So don't worry about the top 2, top 6, Big 10, or the middle table. We have everybody. And you know, I am the host. And I'm supposed to kick things off, but I'm looking at a man here who eager to start things. But before we start things, we have special categories just for proper things for them. So they're wondering what categories. And we have 4 of them. The first one, named after the show, proper things. This is the player from the team that I personally feel you have to have when the game start game week 1. You can't miss out on it. If you're looking at a man from that team, that is the guy, the proper guy. And then we have needle movers. You know, it have all different types of players. We have aggressive players who looking to come out the gate from the jump. They want to get the differential lead. They want to be top of the league and go straight through from 1 to 38 without dropping a beat. We have those for you all. Then we have spilt milk. You know, it's the kind of funky players. Players I think they should stay away from. You know, when you smell our milk, you say, nah boy, I feel that good. We have that for you. And finally, we have the Wondering pick. Named after the Wonder kids. You know, players who have potential to be stars in fantasy. But players who, you know, you need to keep an eye on them for game week 1 or 2 weeks and then bring them in.
You're still wondering about them.
You know, a little Trini style for you. You're wondering if to make that call or send that text, but you're wondering if to pick these players. You know, so we have you all covered. And don't worry, we're going through them for every team and we have graphics to help all that. So I see the man grinning, he happy. So Ezra, I'll defer to you for Arsenal. But just today, so tell me about the Gunners.
Yeah man. As I say, we're gonna be analyzing every team in the Premier League to help you get that first draft together. So we can help you to get the best FPL team, get the best out there experience this season. So we're gonna separate it into 4 categories and go through every team for you, so you'd have a thorough knowledge of every player going into the season. Alright, so as I say, I'm going to be kicking it off with Arsenal, and the first player on the list for proper things that me and Michael calling out is Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka coming in the game at 8.5 million this season. Last season he scored a total of 202 points with 14 goals and 12 assists, which is really good for a winger coming off from a 22-year-old winger. Arsenal's first 3 fixtures, Nottingham Forest home, Crystal Palace away and Fulham at home. I mean, he has the potential to really go big in those first 3 fixtures and really get you off to a good start. He might be a popular pick, you know, his percentage might be a popular pick, so that's why we have him in the proper things category. So, you know, he mightn't give you the biggest ranks way at the start, but he's a player that you just cannot have in your team at the start of the season. What do you think about Bukayo Saka, Michael? Is he making a first draft?
When you're all going on, Ezra, you know me long enough to know I love a penalty taker. I done see in game week 1, Jesus going and do a little wobble in the box. You know how he's doing thing?
Yeah.
Man going to touch the ankle. VR going and say bang. And Saka going and say 5 points goal Arizona. So he my team.
Yeah. I feel that. So you're talking about Gabriel Jesus. In the first episode, I highlighted Gabriel Jesus as one to avoid. But thinking about it, now he could be coming in at the 8.8 million price point. He could be a big differential. I mean, the forward spots have so much good options there this season. You know, we're talking about the likes of Watkins, the likes of Callum Wilson. I mean, we have the big hitters, Haaland and Kane there as well. You only have 3 spots for the forwards. I expect Gabriel Jesus to come in a little less owned. So for one of the needle movers, we have 2 needle movers from Arsenal. One of them is Gabriel Jesus coming in at 8 million. Last season, he scored 125 points, 11 goals, and 7 assists. His expected goal involvement, the expected goal involvement is just a stat we use to determine how much goals or assists a player should statistically have gotten in a specific season. So that is just what it means. So when you see the XGI of Gabriel Jesus as 14.24, that is just statistically he should have gotten 14.24 goal involvements for the season, right? So that is just a stat for us to gauge whether a player is underperforming or overperforming. So that is just what that stat means. I believe he has potential to go either way. At the start of the season, he could either be a big flop or a big hit. So that's why we have him in the needle movers category. If you are a risky player and you want to get a head start from the start, Gabriel Jesus is a player to look at. And also another player to look at in needle movers is from Arsenal is Gabriel Martinelli. So we have the two Gabriels here.
Gab on Gab.
Yeah. Coming in at 8 million as well. He scored 198 points last season, 15 goals, 9 assists, and his XGI was 16.13 for the season. I expect him to not be as highly owned as Saka. Saka being the star boy, Saka being the face of the Premier League. You know, I don't expect him to be as highly owned. So if you want a little differential as well, Gabriel Martinelli is one to look at from a needle mover from Arsenal. And going on to the spilt milk from Arsenal, one player that we think just they should avoid. We highlighted Ben White. Ben White with the incoming transfer of Timber, I think already completed, just waiting for the medical announcement to be done, along with Declan Rice as well, but Timber more. Ben White looks like he'll be have to fight for minutes this season in that right back position and also that centre back position. You know how Arteta would like to more than likely adopt Pep style with the 3 centre backs.
Adopt, you mean steal?
Not steal, adopt. That's the word you use it. We adopted, yeah. Because Pep was adopted from somebody too, and Johan Cruyff. Alright,
so the man know history.
So yeah, so I think Arteta would look at that style this season to get that 3 centre back at the back with Zinchenko going into midfield. So yeah, I believe Ben White will struggle for minutes this season, and also with the price of 5.5 million, is really high. I would stay away from Ben White at the start of the season from Arsenal. And lastly, the wondering picks, the players that you might be wondering about, but we don't recommend for you to have in your first draft. But you know, after a couple of weeks and you watch them, they could always come in and make a big impact. Firstly, we highlighted Kai Havertz, the new signing for Arsenal. We'll see how we go. I mean, we talked at length about Kai Havertz already. I'm sure you see a lot of videos. I mean, Kai Havertz is he going to be a wonder? Is he going to be a flop? We have no idea. I have no idea. Michael, you have any idea?
For 60 million plus 5 add-ons, he better be not flopping out it.
Well, I mean, how much Chelsea pay for him? Just some Starbucks for that.
Well, Ezra, they did pay what? 90 for Mudryk.
So yeah, Kai Havertz is one I'll be closely watching, seeing how Arteta would use him. I see a lot of people saying that Havertz would be this player that is going to fill Granit Xhaka's role and in the midfield. I mean, a lot of people out there saying, me personally, I don't believe that is how Arteta is going to use him. I believe that Kai Havertz is going to be a false nine in the team. Kind of rotated with Gabriel Jesus, but we'll see how that goes. Nobody can tell at the start of the season. So yeah, Kai Havertz is one to watch. After a couple game weeks, he might be one to look at, to seriously consider in the squad. Another player to look at is Balogun, coming off an amazing season in Ligue 1, scoring 21 goals and 3 assists. Yeah, I'll be looking for him, especially at that price at 4.5. Any types of injury, or if he gets a transfer to another, like a smaller Premier League team where he'll get football each game week, I believe he'll be a good option as well. So these are the players that you should be wondering about, but do not necessarily go for in a game week 1 draft.
Well, I agree with everything Ezra just said, except for one thing. Man, at the start they say Saka is the face of the Premier League, so.
The star boy, come on.
Well,
I know people like Haaland. Haaland is probably the best goal scorer. But when we're talking about the face of the Premier League, we have to talk about the star boy.
Well, my trainees will know this. And the school children don't know the school. You know, it have something called a Jan sport, then it have a Joy sport. When you're talking face of the league for Kyle Saka, that is more the Joy sport kind of settings they're going for. But you know what? The man bring his jersey, he excited, we can go and talk all that today. The man say Saka is the face of the Premier League. In quotations, Ezra Ramdeen 2023.
Stamp it, quote it.
Alright. So thank you, Ezra. And now we move now to the villains, Aston Villa. So last December, it had a small tournament. I don't know if you all remember with Lionel Messi lifting a trophy, you know, he gonna win, you know, Ballon d'Or and all those things. It had an unsung hero in the final that nobody seemed to be talking about, who I designate as the proper thing pick from this team. By the name of who? The one and only Emi Martinez. I mean, if you're looking for a goalkeeper to start the season, it has to be this guy in the 5.0 range. I mean, look at how many points he scored last season. 135, 11 clean sheets, 38 goals conceded, and an XGC of 43.46. And I know it's sounding kind of high, but you all have to remember that good evening. The guy himself, Unai Emery, came in at the back end of the season, and you could see how the defense just transited into something that, you know, you couldn't really get goals in on. And I don't know if you are following Fabrizio Romano. Shout out Fabrizio. But a left-sided centre-back by the name of Pau Torres has been confirmed by him, who is heading to the Williams themselves, who I believe will not only help Emi Martinez keep more clean sheets, but, you know, help the team themselves be a better defensive unit.
Yeah.
Then we move to the needle movers. A guy who I think, you know, could give you all a little spike in your rankings in the first game week is the boy Jacob Ramsey. I know not the sexiest name you hear, but he's a midfielder at 6.0. And boy, this Jacob Ramsey could play. If you look at his stats from last season, the boy had 135.6 goals and 8 assists with an XGI of 7.96. I know it's not sounding that, you know, juicy, as Ezra will say, because he likes juicy picks. But they do have Newcastle, Everton, and Burnley in their first 3 games. So I think points could be on the horizon. What do you think about that, Ezra?
Yeah, Jacob Ramsey is such a hit or miss player. Such, in a footballing perspective, such a good English talent. I believe he's going to have a really good career in the Premier League. But from an FPL perspective, just because of the nature of his positioning, he's not going to score, he's not going to bang in goals for you every single game week. But there's also that chance where he bangs in a brace and also gets 2 assists in a specific game week. So yeah, certainly a needle mover if you're a risky player and you're really looking for it and you believe that Unai Emery is going to get the best out of Jacob Ramsey and you're looking just for a punt to start off the season. Yeah, Jacob Ramsey could be a good player, especially at that 6 million price point.
So now we move to the spilt milk. I know I'm going to get some heat for this call, but to me, I find this guy a little funky to start the season with, Ollie Watkins. Well, for me, at 8.2, I don't really like that price point for the guy. I mean, we just mentioned Gabriel Jesus, and a few guys who will be mentioned later in Callum Wilson, and then we have a lot of 7.5 strikers. And for me, Ollie Watkins is that kind of guy who you need to find the purple patch, where, you know, 5 goals in 5 game weeks, like what he had coming to the back end of last season. So I don't think any manager who wants to win leagues should start with Ollie Watkins. And I have a bonus for you all in Diego Carlos. I know I said something earlier about Pau Torres, but Diego Carlos was one of the big signings for Aston Villa last season. And at 4.5, he seems like a steal. But to be honest, Ezra, I don't think he'll be starting game week 1.
Same thing I believe. I don't believe he'll be starting. You know, Mings is a sure starter in the team, and with that chance of Pau Torres coming in, you know, Pau Torres is one of the world's best defenders, left-sided defenders. I don't believe Diego Carlos has a chance. He'll be a good backup if anyone gets injured, but he won't have a chance. But that is one thing we kind of disagree with Ollie Watkins. When you say spilt milk, I honestly believe Ollie Watkins might have a good season this season. If you watch Unai Emery, he seems to get the best out of these type of strikers, you know, mobile strikers as at the top. So I wouldn't necessarily say Ollie Watkins is a spilt milk player. I believe he has a chance. Probably a needle mover because he's a risk. I don't believe he'll be as reliable as the Keanes or the Haalands of the world. But yeah, I could understand at the 8 million price point, they might be a little hesitant. But I believe at some point in the season, he'd be able to justify that price point.
You see why they say it's not good to work with your boss sometime? You man done challenging my already. You know? But you know what? We will let time tell, and hindsight is 2020. So game week 4, yeah, I might have to, call Ezra back in to see how things shake out on that one. And finally, we have the wondering pick. And the man get called 3 times, maybe 4 times already. We don't have his price, but if this guy comes in at 4.5, I think he goes straight in. If he comes in at 5.2, I think that is where you had to wound a little bit and see if they bring him in. You want the only Pau Torres. And not much to say on this guy, but if you follow Villarreal over there in La Liga, the boys are proper left-sided centre-back. Unai Emery seems to really value this player, and I think he'll be a sure pick. And I love Aston Villa's defense. As you could tell, I will have Emi Martinez in my team, and I might do that stack with Pau Torres.
Double Aston Villa.
Well,
Trust in the ex-Arsenal man by the ex-Arsenal manager.
well, you know me, I don't get up in the morning, but it's good evening to everyone. So,
So yeah, man, that's Aston Villa. Moving along now to Bournemouth. So we're gonna highlight some players from Bournemouth that you can look at. First of all, our proper things pick from Bournemouth is Dominic Solanke. Coming in at 6.5 million, option up front as well. Last season, he had a good bit of form coming up to the end of the season. Not no sort of hat trick or brace, but consistent 1 or 2 goals. Come in handy. Those 4 pointers come in handy. Very, very handy.
the boy burned me last year.
Yeah. He does burn a couple of people. 130 points he scored last season, 6 goals, 10 assists, with an XGI of 10.39. So he kind of overperformed his expected goal involvement. But that doesn't mean that this season, with the improvement of Burnley, I believe Bournemouth will improve a lot under their manager. They have a good manager, a very good tactical manager. They might not have the players right now to compete at the highest level, but I believe throughout the season they'll find their way, and I believe they'll stay in the Premier League this season with Dominic Solanke being a big part of that. So Dominic Solanke really want to look at in the forward position, a budget forward. Some needle movers from Bournemouth, Philip Billing. I remember that goal he scored in 20 seconds against Arsenal last season, and then my boy Reece Nelson had to do it 20 seconds from the end to win it back.
That goal was offside.
So cool. Bournemouth has a kind of difficult run to start with, if you're being honest. West Ham at home, Liverpool away, and Tottenham at home. If you're calling Tottenham a difficult fixture still.
not me.
But we know that what happened with Bournemouth and Tottenham last season, right? Potential for points. So anytime Bournemouth gets in the attacking mode, as we know that the manager likes to play that attacking style of football, likes to get forward, likes to get his players scoring goals. If they could find some form at the start of the season and probably cause some upsets, this would be the guy that would be in the center of it all. Billing, coming in at 5.5 million last season, he scored 126 points, 7 goals and 2 assists. 7.16 goal involvement, expected goal involvement. So he's average, he's a reliable striker. He puts away his chances about the same. So yeah, Billing, if you have some faith in Bournemouth, if you see in that vision that Bournemouth going to start off the season hot, Billing is one to look at for sure to get a team differential. A lot of people will not be going for Billing, I'm sure of that. So he will give you a massive rank boost if he does go big at the start. So you have Billing in your team, you're going for that risk, Michael. I know you're a risk taker.
When you know it have a risk, and then it have a risk, this one is a kind of August 10th kind of risk.
Now, of the bad cards, you say, well, you can lose it at the what?
You could lose the league in game week 1, but you can't win it.
For sure. But if you're feeling Billing, I mean, it can pay off big time. If you decide to go for Billing in your first draft and he goes big in game week 1, 20 points, make sure and message me and send me a screenshot. You know, so we could highlight it. You deserve a lot of you deserve to get a shout out on the show. Right? So moving on to the spilt milk of Bournemouth. Spilt milk, I mean Bournemouth is such a team, we have the entire defense.
wait, that's right. The entire defense, we ain't like nobody, boy.
We ain't like nobody in that Bournemouth defense.
Wait, the man picking everybody. You hear the man ain't like nobody there.
Just because of the quality of the players, we know the manager likes to play this attacking football, likes to get his players forward, likes to score goals. And with the quality of players they have, it's obvious that the defense will be leaky, it will be lacking at the back. Unless they can bring in some big names, which I don't believe is in Bournemouth's budget. I believe the defense would be poor again this season. They would have to outscore players. They would have to outscore teams to try to get points in this league. I don't believe it have a lot of clean sheets for them. And even if you look at the defense, the manager doesn't like the wingers to go up too high either. And even if he wants that, the fullback's just too slow. You know?
But let me be honest, Ezra. We're expecting Liverpool to score some goals.
We're expecting Liverpool to score some goals. How much you get last season? 9?
Something like that. I believe even the man now who left, Fabio, and all score goals and all.
Cavallo. You know, so we can expect another 9 this season. Probably not nil. We hope Solanke and Billings get a couple inside there. Probably 9-2 this time. 9-3. Yeah, but I wouldn't be going anywhere near any Bournemouth defenders.
I agree.
I agree.
That is what we call spilt milk right there.
Spilt milk. Don't go anywhere near unless you're trying to get sick. Right, looking at the wandering picks. As we say, Bournemouth is a team that is going to be looking to push forward, going to look to get its wingers inside the box with the ball taken on defenders. So we're going to look at the 2 wide players here at Bournemouth. Marcus Tavernier, 5.5 million, exciting player, quick, lot of skill. Last season he scored 5 goals and 4 assists with an XGI of 4.50, which is kind of low, which means he overperformed his expected goal involvement last season. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have the potential to continue in scoring. We know a certain Bruno Fernandes who likes to overperform season in, season out. You know, it's just about getting in the right positions and scoring the goals. And also the other wing on the other side is Justin Kluivert, a new signing that he signed from Roma this season. He looks very exciting. Looks to be one to look at the Bournemouth attacking. Yeah, coming at 5.5 as well. He is going to be a player to watch from the in the Bournemouth attack this season. So yeah, keep your eyes out. I wouldn't recommend putting them in your first draft, but keep your eyes out for these 2 players at some point in the season. I really believe that these 2 will be really good budget picks at some point in the season. So keep your eyes out for these 2.
And now we move on to Brentford, the Honeybees.
Brentford, 4-0 Man United. We hope that comes.
And I know we're going to start with proper things, and people seeing our name missing it. Well, last I checked, I see this boy in the Royal Princess in Trinidad, and you know, behind the machines and things.
I see him in the avenue in the casino by the avenue.
Why? The boy is a big player, but it seems like he has a little addiction off the field. We're talking about Ivan Toney, who will not be playing. I believe it's until January or something, right?
January? Yeah, that's a long time to not be playing, but no doubt when he comes back. But yeah, totally agree with the FA as well. You know, you can't be having these things going on in the league. So I totally agree with the FA of his back.
So with no Toney, who is the guy who I believe will get the goals for Brentford? Well, FPL classed him as a midfielder this season at 6.5. One and only Mbueno. Boy scored 150 points last year, 9 assists, and has an XGI of 15.01. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a sneaky little shout that Mbueno might be on PKs. And you know I love a PK taker, Ezra.
Yeah. We still have to confirm who will take the penalty kick. That would be very interesting to see.
So look out for pre-season and look out for the updates we'll be giving you all. But if I had to go for a Brentford player, I'm not saying the guy not in my team or in my team. But right now, he on the cusp. It has to be the one and only Mbueno. This guy always finds himself in positions where he's likely to score. I mean, he does have the little Darwin Núñez gene where he misses a lot of chances.
For sure.
But I believe with a little more efficiency in front goal, we could be looking at a season similar to what Riyad Mahrez did when he was playing for Leicester. You remember that season, Ezra?
Yeah. That's a big. That was before I started playing FPL, but I remember this season well. I could have just imagined how Mahrez and Vardy combination is that. But yeah, and Wemo, he looked really good. Coming up to the end of last season with the little fixture, and they had a good fixture, and coming up to the end of the last season. With even Tony missing, I really expect him to play a big part in that Brentford team for Thomas Frank.
Nice. And not only is he priced again at 6.5, but they play in Tottenham, who have a goalkeeper. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Some fella from the Italian league.
Yeah. We'll see how that works out. Tottenham. The picture, man.
And they played Fulham and Crystal Palace. So I believe there's opportunity for Mbuino to hold in those first 3 game weeks. So proper things, Mbuino. Now I move on to the needle mover. This is a guy who a lot of people are in. And I know you need budget forwards. At 6.0, I am going with Visa. And like I said, the penalty taker is not really confirmed yet for the Honeybees. And Visa's name is in the hat. Now we have to look at preseason and see who is behind the penalty kicks. But I think Visa has a realistic shot of being that guy. So if you're looking for a differential, something, to spike you up the ranks, I believe Visa could be that guy. Now, I know I'm going to get some flack for this week, because this is a guy, my partner Lucky done watching me kind of way.
Yeah, when I see this graphic, I was like, let me hear this one. But we hear it out, let me hear him out.
We ain't have my phone number, but it could, still call Ezra and tell him to tell me, although, I'll be ducking the feed, I'll do the show, and I will not be answering comments. Ezra will take over. As I said, spilt milk this season is David Raya. Now, hear him out. I know the man made 166 points last season, and he had 12 clean sheets, right?
One of the best goalkeepers in the game. So I'm waiting to hear this explanation. Let me hear him out.
The thing is, FPL community, I personally do not believe David Raya would be a honeybee game week 1. And even if he is a honeybee game week 1, I don't think his head will be, in the game itself. And you will see why with the wondering picks. I'll combine them one time. In Flecken, who is a 4.5 goalkeeper. Now the Honeybees invested money into this player, which means they think David Raya will not be there when the season starts.
True that.
I mean, Brentford is not known for splashing money and they don't have the biggest budget. So for them to actually highlight a keeper and move in so early, I believe that there is more smoke than all of us believe, and I think David Raya will not be a part of the Honeybees. And even if he is, which there is a huge chance, I don't think he will be game week 1, game week 2, game week 3. So if you're setting your team now, and you know you're going on holiday, I know SC results come out, everybody happy. I'm not saying miss the deadline, because we'll keep updating all that. Please stay away from David Raya, because I find that milk, it's a little funky.
Yeah, so you believe you're going to take a move away from Brentford?
Well, you know what David Raya tell me? He ain't like Brentford, and teams calling him, and the big payday there. I feel it could be to one of them all clubs.
We'll see how that works out. But yeah, David Raya, you kind of convinced me. I believe I'll kind of stay away from him. And his price raise as well. And last year he was what, 4.5? This season is 5 million.
Well, at 5.2, you're getting sure picks at that pricing, and I just mentioned one in Emi Martinez. So I think if you're looking for a goalkeeper price at 5.2, Emi Martinez is your guy.
True that, I understand that. Alright. So you make a little bit of sense. But those are you still in the big David Raya camp? I know he pulled out a lot of your last season. If you're still a big David Raya fan, make sure and mention Micheal in the comments and tell him your mind. Alright, moving along now to one of the hottest FPL teams in the Premier League, with some of the best assets that you'll ever find in the FPL game, Brighton and Hove Albion.
Ezra, this team put a smile on my face.
Yes, put a smile on my face as well, because there's so much good options, so much at good prices that score so much points, I don't have to tell all you about Brighton. I'm sure everybody here loves Brighton. Same way how I love Brighton.
The way the man talking, it sounds like the man like Brighton more than Arsenal.
Nah, not so much. Not so much. But alright, so proper things. We highlighting two players here that we believe would be the proper things picked from Brighton. First of all, we have Estupinian coming off his debut season last season, losing Kukurea. Brighton, we know how good their recruitment is in bringing in these players. To all the FIFA career men who does play FIFA career, sure all they know about Estupinian. Yeah.
I know you all ain't seen me right now with my hand up.
The only man who does play FIFA career, yeah, sure you all know about Estupinian. He had such a good debut season. Coming in the game this season at 5 million, 128 points last season, and 8 goal involvements and 10 clean sheets. Good debut season. Expect him to get better. Expect him to get more expansive. Expect him to get more attacking as he develops to the pace of the Premier League. Yeah, I expect him to be such a good player this season, especially with Brighton's first 3 fixtures, which is Luton at home. We don't know what to expect from Luton so much. They might come out, a small stadium, small club. They're going to come out, their fans going to be rocking. We'll see how Luton plays in the Premier League this season. I have no idea what to expect. You know what to expect from Luton?
Luton is not the team with the bar to enter the stadium.
Yeah. But when we play this stadium, that be away, then they have Wolves away and West Ham at home. So a good first 3 fixtures to start up. I expect some clean sheets. I expect some goal involvement from Estupinian. Yeah, man, a proper pick. He should be highly owned. But yeah, if you don't want to miss out on that train and play it safe at the start of the season, definitely have Estupinian in your team. Another player, another proper things player is Batuma. Burst onto the season last season. We could never forget about that trick he did on Joe Gomez in the cup.
I know how Joe Gomez still showing his face in the Premier League, and sorry Liverpool fans, but that was some nasty stuff.
Yeah. Turn Joe Gomez into what, Ice Spice? Yeah, so we don't know Matoma, the PhD in dribbling. Although he says that has nothing to do with his play style, but I believe that helps him a lot for sure in knowing movements. Coming in the game at 6.5 million, still a good price. 138 points last season, 7 goals and 9 assists from an XGI of 13.22. So I expect him to be good again this season. I expect him to come out swinging. He has his spot almost secure, more than likely secure. You see what goes on with the Zerbi. You never know what could go on in season with hiring and firing. Potter leave them high and dry last season. So look out. But the Zerbi looks to be there at the start of the season, at least. So yeah, with that style of football that Brighton's play, these 2 players are really going to be ones to target from that team. Any 2 of these players making your side, Michael?
Any 2? You mean both?
Both.
I'm not going without either of these players for game week 1, game week 2, game week 3, and maybe for the rest of the season. I absolutely adore these guys.
Yeah. Still of a deal. Can't praise them enough. Moving on to the needle movers. So we know Brighton expected to have some high ownership on most of their assets, especially the popular ones. But one player that I believe wouldn't be as highly owned and has potential to really go big this season is the man Ivan Ferguson, the big guy up front. Young guy now developing, adapts to the Premier League really well last season in his debut season. Coming up to the end of the season where he got to play more. Welbeck looks to be going on an age, so I expect him to get more play time. Brighton, it don't look like they're going to be bringing in another striker. In this transfer window, it looks like they're going to be rolling with Welbeck and Ferguson for the season. We'll see how it goes in the transfer window. It still has a lot of time to go in transfer windows, but the way things indicated right now, they don't look like they'll be rolling with these 2 guys. Ferguson coming in at 6 million, so he had a little price rise this season. Even FPL sees the potential in him. Last season scored 65 points with 6 goals and 2 assists. You have to remember that this guy came in more in the middle end of the season, limited game time. Welbeck was still getting some minutes. Welbeck was scoring some goals, But I believe this season he'd really stamp his place in that team. One to look at. If you're looking to go for a big differential at the start, Ivan Ferguson against Luton at home, really can't go wrong if you're looking for that risk.
I totally agree. And you have to remember with young players, sometimes transition into the Premier League could be a little difficult. So the boy picked up a little niggle here and there, so he missed time, so he start and stop.
Yeah.
You know, so I totally agree with young Ferguson. I absolutely love that needle mover pick.
Yeah. Ferguson, one to look out for. Spilled milk. Two players that I definitely wouldn't be looking at the Brighton, you know. All the assets from Brighton does look so appealing, but there's a few that I will stay away from game week one. First of all, Pascal Gross. Getting on to age, kind of playing in more of a deeper role at the end of last season. I remember at the beginning of last season, he was a good asset, really good asset, was scoring goals, but when he was playing a little higher up, with McAllister moving, I believe he has potential to go up and play a little higher as well, but we're not sure, really uncertain, and he's also getting on into age. I believe he's in his 30s now, late 30s, well, not late 30s, but around retirement age 30s. So yeah, I don't expect him
Ezra,
to have
how
a
you
big...
want to retire the man by?
I retired him early yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gross. If you're watching this, Gross, I mean to call it old.
Remember, this is the same man who say he love Brighton players.
But you know the time change at the price 6.5 million. I believe there's a lot of better assets out there that you could get for that money. 159 points. He didn't do too bad last season as well. I remember he started off really well. 9 goals, 8 assists out of XGI of 14.12. But yeah, I'll just stay away from Gross from this season. Just let him run his natural course. I don't believe he'll be a big impact player this season for Brighton. Another player on the spilled milk list is Danny Welbeck. Getting on in age as well, the ex-Arsenal man, ex-Man U man, a really good Premier League career, you know. I think he's kind of one of those underrated players that had just a really good career in the English Premier League. Coming in 6 million, 91 points last season, 6 goals, 5 assists, and as we say, Ferguson looks to be like the one that's going to carry on the mantle for Brighton here. You know, they like to give the young players a chance. I believe his game time will be limited, might come off the bench. So yeah, Danny Welbeck certainly one to avoid at the start of the season. And players that you might just be wondering about. So we know the guy who scored the goal of the season last season against Man City, against your team, or that
Nah, that was City B.
You watch that live?
Yeah.
City B, who was any goalkeeper? The A keeper or the B keeper?
Nah, when that was before Edison find himself. Nah, that was when he was T-Rex hands. So, you know, he found himself in the Champions League final though. Shout out the boy Edison.
So we're talking about none other than Enciso. Coming at 5.5 million this season. He burst onto the scene at the end of last season when Brighton really wasn't playing for anything. Their European football was more or less already confirmed, and he was just kind of getting minutes, and he really stamped his authority into the team. We're still yet to see for sure if De Zerbi will start with him. Although he looked like a starter at the end of the season, I remember Brighton wasn't really playing for anything. The European was really already confirmed. So we're still yet to see for sure if he will be in the starting lineup, starting next at the start of the season. But at 5.5 million, he really looks like a good differential from Matuma. Also a saving a million there as well. So if this is a player that we just say you'll just be wondering about, I wouldn't pay him directly in. I'll give him a little couple of weeks just to see if he's in the team for sure, and then definitely look for this guy to come in the team. Possibly for Matuma, or possibly if you like, play both of them in the midfield with a double Brighton midfield. Another player, a new signing, João Pedro. I don't believe he will be playing in the number 9 role. I believe he might play a little bit wider or a little bit behind the striker. But even in playing in those positions, he has such good potential of getting points. We already know what he did with Watford in their last season in the Premier League. How he was kind of a youngster there. He wasn't fully developed. He was still kind of a raw talent. Well, he had a season in the Championship, and he's now coming back to the Premier League with Brighton. So I believe him to develop in strides. I believe he would do play well. I don't believe he'll be in the team right away. I believe he'd have to earn the Zerbi's trust a little before he becomes a regular starting player in the lineup. So yeah, definitely one to wonder about, definitely one to look at. João Pedro at 5.5 million. Exciting prospect. So yeah, Brighton is definitely a team you should be looking at the entire season. They have lots of good assets, even some that we mightn't even highlight here. They might have some player that we don't even know from Cuba or something that going and pop out this season. So yeah, just look out for Brighton. Make sure and watch the games that Brighton are playing, how they're playing, and yeah, you'll find a lot of good assets in Brighton.
Well, the next team, just how Ezra says he loves his Brighton players. The only thing I love about Burnley, let me be honest, is the Man City legend himself, Vassar Company, you know. Because FPL community,
big season here, have a big season here, yeah.
FPL community, I find we doing one team in, one team out. We sharing the love on the show. Ezra just get Arsenal and Brighton, and I have to come and speak about Burnley now with us. You know, I'm not come here to lie to all the fellas. So let me kick off the thing with some honesty here. Let me kick off with some honesty, Ezra. Proper things this season from Burnley is Bayer.
Bayer, yeah. The former, the Mönchengladbach, he was on loan from Mönchengladbach in the Championship. Signed him this season. He looks to be good this season.
And I'm going to cut you off there, Ezra. If your community don't like Ezra tell you the guy going to be good or great or anything, the man in the proper things category right now, because he's a sure starter for Vassar Company. And let's be honest, game week 1, you need those 4.0 guys to sit on your bench and potentially come in and do a job for you.
Exactly.
Now Burnley is not the most attractive option when it comes to defenders. But Vassar Company might spring a little surprise on you all. You have to remember that it took us, Man City, to bounce them from the FA Cup.
Yeah. And you have to remember, this is not Sean Dyche's Burnley, this is Company's Burnley now, so you're not sure exactly how the defense. Remember, a long time Burnley was the defensive capital of the IFPL.
Well, I remember those days clearly, and I always say, Burnley is like Stoke after Stoke. You don't want to meet them on a rainy Monday night away from home.
You don't want to meet them.
So FPL community is keeping it short and sweet. Proper things, Bayer, simply because he is 4.0 and you need sure starters at that price point to make your team to potentially do a job for you. So do not say, Micheal tell all you need him to start games. All you need him on the bench to possibly do a job for you.
Exactly.
Ezra, the people asking me for a needle mover for Burnley. And I am the expert here. And ladies and gentlemen, and I don't mean to offend the Burnley fans. Well, let me call it as it is.
That's speed.
If you're looking to win the $10,000, let me just stay away from Burnley to start things off.
Yeah. If you want that chance to win the $10,000 and the grand prize of the TT FPL Pro-League, we believe just stay away from any differentials in the Burnley camp.
So I'm not here to grease all your fellas or getting all your head and chicken all you up and give all your Burnley picks. So for Burnley, the needle movers, we will just put asterisks next to it, and maybe I'll have an update for you all in a later episode. So keep watching us and I'll keep you all posted. Spilled milk, we have no needle movers. So I say, if you have nothing good to say, don't say nothing. I'll just say, stay away from Burnley outside our Bayer.
Yeah.
And all you're expecting me to say no wondering picks for Burnley, and well, that's where I catch you all. We have a guy here in midfield, Ezra, at 5.5 million. We do have no XGs and stuff for you all for this guy because he played in the championship last year, but he's an exciting young talent. And I believe, is a guy you need to keep your eye on. Maybe he comes out and he does some things, but it's too early to tell. This is an investment you need to put down and let it mature a little bit before you see a reward. So game week 1, stay away. But if you're looking at Burnley games, you have to look at Benson. So if this boy pops off, remember I tell you all from the jump, that's the guy you all need to keep an eye on. And maybe potentially game week 4 or 5, you bring him in and he does a job for you all. But again, I'm not here to grease all you or chain all you up and make Burnley sound like this attractive option when it's really not.
Yeah. Just look for Burnley assets as players to fill a bench, players that could potentially just come in and do a job when you need it.
Well, sure. Me and know if you is the man to do the next team, and Because I feel a little biased going and come in here with the London teams and that. But Blues fans, let me hear what the Arsenal fan had to say about other teams.
Well, the next team, if we go in chronological order, is that side from that blue team from West London. That small side, isn't it?
I don't even know the name, and Ezra. Them not even playing in Europe. They come 12 or something.
12, yeah, some mid-table team that will be on the west side of London. Yeah, they opening fixtures being Liverpool at home, then West Ham away and Luton at home. Chelsea, obviously talking about Chelsea here. Bad season last season, if we're being real. They say there was a transition, anybody could just disguise it under the words of a transition. But, we take that as face value. Hopefully they come out better this season.
Hopefully not, though. Really, honestly speaking, hopefully not. I love to see Chelsea suffer.
Spending all that money, and well, they did. I have to commend them. They did really, really good in transfer window so far. Made back a lot of money with the sales of Kai Havertz and all these other players to the Saudi League. Made back a lot of money, so you have to commend them for that. We are bashing them so much about spending all this money. They did good in transfer window so far. Still have a couple of players offload and get off the books, but yeah, this is a transition period for the Chelsea fans, for the Chelsea players. Some young talents coming in, so yeah, we're gonna highlight some FPL players here for you from the Chelsea side. One of the proper things, this surprised me a lot. This really surprised me a lot when the game started. Raheem Sterling at 7 million. I put up on my Instagram when they released the price. If anybody remember the OG days when Sterling was what, 11 million?
Well,
11.5 million?
Well, Ezra, them days, the boy was playing in blue, but it was a lighter color, it was a sky blue color.
so the darker get the cheaper the price, the darker the blue.
Yeah, and well, let me be honest, this team is not sky blue, so I understand the pricing.
Yeah, so FPL deciding to put Sterling at 7 million this season. Last year he scored 101 points, a really underwhelming season for Sterling. And well, most Chelsea players in general, 6 goals, 4 assists from IGI of 9.43. Sterling, yeah, at this price, I believe, with this Chelsea, if Chelsea could get things together, if the manager could get things going with the team, Pochettino coming in now, if he could bounce and get a good start against Liverpool at home, the boys would be up and ready for that. The transition season is going behind them. They'd be looking to come out as professionals, as young players to have something to prove to a new manager. Hopefully that is the mindset going in for the Chelsea players to that Liverpool game, because we know Liverpool will come out the same way, looking to win the game with West Ham away and Luton at home for the next 2 fixtures. I believe Sterling will be a proper thing to pick for this FPL season if he could just find his form that he had at Man City at the sky blue side. Sterling, I believe he will be starting the games. Pochettino is going to be, I don't think Pochettino is going to take a lot of risk with the young players. Probably 1 or 2 players would get, but I believe he won't take as much as risk as the other managers we saw. So I believe Sterling will be in the starting 11 come the first game week. So yeah, Sterling is one to look at from the Chelsea team as a proper thing as such.
I love that take there, Ezra. Sterling, I have to ask myself what really went wrong with the boy when he transferred, but I always trust Pep Guardiola to make the right calls, and I think Sterling has a shout, and I know I keep saying this, but I just love penalty takers.
Yeah, exactly that, penalty takers.
And with the absence of Jorginho, Kai Havertz, and of course now Mason Mount confirmed, the penalties are up for grabs, and I think Sterling is,
Sterling is one who might get it. One of his senior players, he might just, say he's the one going to take penalties now. There's a big chance that he will be the penalty taker. So yeah, Raheem Sterling, one to watch for sure, 7 million. Can't go wrong, everything looks good. But with Chelsea, I think anything can happen. So it looks good, but let me just watch it and see what goes on with Sterling. Needle movers, one of the players from Chelsea that the risky players should be looking at to get that big rank jump at the start. So Christopher Nkunku, the new signing that is signed.
Love that boy,
Yeah,
he that he plays for Chelsea, but I love him.
7.5 million. What you feel is Nkunku's best position?
Well, that is the thing with Chelsea. Yeah? They want to do this kind of Man City and this Arsenal complete possessionless football, but I believe Nkunku's best position is centre forward, right behind the main striker. But who will be the main striker down in Chelsea?
Who's going to be the main striker? Exactly that. So I was thinking about it while doing research for this show. I was thinking, where would Nkunku play? Because we know his position will affect his FPL performance a lot. Playing behind the striker seems like the obvious place where he would be his best at, but the question would beg, who would be the striker? You know, so we'd have to wait to see what will go on. No doubt that he wouldn't be in the team. He would definitely be in the starting XI. Pochettino, I don't believe Pochettino would leave him out at the start of the season. So he's going to play. It's just where is he's going to play. If you're a risk taker, and you believe he's going to play in a position where he's getting a lot of goal scoring opportunities, where Sterling would produce for him, where all these players would produce good chances for him, where he could just score goals. Yeah, I believe Nkunku would be a good player for you to get in your game week 1 squad to rise that rank for you, if we should see. So yeah, needle movers, Christopher Nkunku, look out for him. Spilt milk. Well, we talk about him a little bit, how his replacement was doing so good at Brighton now. Mark Cucurella. Brighton might be so happy they get rid of him, and brought in Estupinian.
That's right. I remember last off-season we were heavily linked with Cucurella, you know. And then, Chelsea Ted Bowley come with his big checkbook and priced us out of the move, and I was a little disappointed, but hindsight really is 2020 now, isn't it?
So you're happy that I didn't get him. In hindsight?
Hindsight? I must say happiness is an understatement. I am ecstatic.
Ecstatic.
We didn't get this guy Cucurella. I think he's a dead baller, to be honest.
Mark Cucurella coming in at 5 million. Last season scored 65 points and 2 goal involvements, 6 clean sheets, only 6 clean sheets. Chelsea managed
10 million per clean sheet.
10 million per clean sheet. So yeah, Mark Cucurella, definitely one we'd be looking to avoid at the start of the season, especially with those fixtures. Liverpool at home, we all expect Liverpool to come out looking to score. I don't expect Chelsea to keep a clean sheet in that first game. West Ham away, we don't know how the London Stadium is bouncing. You know, they're going to be bubbles first home game of the season. West Ham is going to come out swinging again. So I don't believe there's a clean sheet potential for him there as well. And then Luton, fresh in the Premier League, 3 game, 3rd game in. They might have started off wobbly, they might have started off strong, but anyway, you watch it, Luton would be a wild card. It would be one just to look for. They have nothing to lose. They're just going to come in the Premier League and just play. That's how I believe they're going to do it. So I can't see any clean sheets for Cucurella. And just by nature of his playing, I can't see any attacking returns for him as well. So that's why we're saying Cucurella is one to avoid at the start of the season.
Ezra, let me ask you a question. If everybody fit in Chelsea's defense, which is rare because, Reece James have rubber bands for hamstrings. Do you think Mark Cucurella is going to be in the starting 11 game week 1?
It all depends on the formation that Pochettino plays. Chilwell is fit now. Chilwell looks like he's ready to go at the start of the season. So it all depends on the formation. If Pochettino plays 3 in the back, which I really doubt he's going to, Cucurella might find a start in the left centre back position with Chilwell at the left wing back. But if it's just at 4 at the back, I really don't see Pochettino. I see Pochettino going for the more attacking option at left back if it's 4 at the back. So yeah, I believe Chilwell might have the edge over him. But we never know. There might be a transition for the player. He might start to play left centre back now. Koulibaly gone. They kind of light in the back. Thiago Silva old. You never know what kind of injuries he might get, what kind of trouble Chelsea might find themselves in at the season. So you never know. I can see him transition into a left centre back. But we'll see how the season goes. How Pochettino wants to use him. But at any point, I don't believe he would be a good FPL option. Moving on to the wondering picks now. So these are the players that you might be wondering about from the Chelsea team that you wouldn't necessarily want to have in your game week 1 squad, but you'd be looking at to get at a later date probably. And we're looking at Colwill. That's how it's pronounced, Colwill?
I think it's Colwell.
Colwill. We know the guy from Brighton, the youth man from Brighton in the back, who just strong and physical and looks like he's going to take the Premier League by storm.
Last I hear, this boy could be playing in red next season.
He can be playing in a big picker clubs. Such a good talent. Brighton has such a good eye for talent. He spent a season there on loan last season. Really developed his game. Really adapted to the Premier League physicality. He beefed up a lot as well. Put on a lot of weight, got a lot stronger, and he's back in the Chelsea team. Looks like he's going to be starting. It looks like he's going to be the one taking over that position at left centre back for Koulibaly. Priced at 4.5 million, so a really good price this season once he starts. Last season he scored 46 points, 2 goal involvements, and 3 clean sheets because he came in more at the end of last season for Brighton. But when he did come in, boy oh boy did he play. He played really well. So yeah, a really good young talent to look for. A player that the Chelsea fans could really get excited about. Probably not one that you'd want to get in your side from game week 1. You want to see how Chelsea plays first, how the defense is looking. And yeah, definitely want to look at later down in the season as a budget pick in the defense. Cool.
Now we move on to Crystal Palace, the Eagles. And you ask about the proper thing pick. Well, currently there's a lot of discussion about the future of one Wilfred Zaha. Wilfred Zaha is a guy that I normally, have this love-hate relationship with because the guy on his day is an absolute world beater. And then on that same day,
on the same day,
he might not do anything and he might say, "Way boy, Wilfred Zaha, like you're playing for United again." Or but with loss there comes opportunity, and there is another young English talent in this Crystal Palace team that I think has a bright future, and I'm talking about the one and only Ezra, who is priced at 6.5. And looking at this guy's stats from last season, he had 159 points, 10 goals, 5 assists, and an XGI of 10.17. Now, Ezra is this young talent who I believe is so exciting and is so dynamic in his approach to the game that it's just fun looking at this guy. And something about him just screams FPL player. Ezra, when you're looking at the game and you're looking at tricks and returns, you just say, you know what, they are real life ballers and FPL players. This guy for me fits both categories.
Real life and FPL, yeah. Such an exciting player. He gets in, although he plays out wide, he gets in those goal scoring opportunities so much throughout the season. He always has that long range banger in him. Sometimes if he scores one, they don't bet against him to score another in the same game. So yeah, such a good FPL talent, such a good real life footballer. Came from the Championship 2 seasons ago from Reading. Yes, the Reading fans out there would know him really well. Good player. He finished the season last season. He finished really strong, a couple of braces. Yeah, so looking at Ezra.
And like I just said, 10 goals is no small feat for someone from a side like Crystal Palace. Again, sorry Crystal Palace fans, but they are not really known for being this exciting team who scores a lot of goals. And now with the exit of one Patrick Vieira, who was known to be more of a defensive coach, I think there's opportunity for this team to score even more goals this season. And as he might not only be the guy at the end who scores the goals, but maybe the chief creator for this team. So definitely a proper thing pick for game week 1. Ezra, look out for it. 6.5, you can't go wrong. And I'm putting the stamp of approval on this pick.
Stamp of approval.
And then I have a little nice namesake for you all in the wondering picks. Micheal Olise. And I know this guy, I'm not picking him simply because his first name is Micheal, but looking at him here, he's a very exciting talent again. And guess what, Ezra? The guy scored 132 FPL points last season, had 2 goals and 11 assists.
And 1 banger against Man United.
I find this guy only remembering bangers versus the Manchester clubs.
Against the Manchester. Well, that's where the bangers scored.
But again, Micheal Olise is one, not to pick at game week 1, but to keep an eye on. Again, if Ezra is what he says I think he is, and I believe he is, I put the stamp of approval on earlier, I think Olise could be the guy playing in the passes and getting those 3 points that keeps the FPL points ticking over. And at the price of 6.0, I think that is one of the guys who could come in there and do a job and help supplement the big hitters that you may want to have in your team later on. So Micheal Olise, definitely the wondering pick for Crystal Palace.
Yeah man. Olise, another Reading boy. As I say, I don't know what Crystal Palace have with the Reading Scouts or something, but a really exciting player. I had my eyes on him a long while too. To all the FIFA career, man, again, shout out again. I all know about Olise. So yeah, we'll definitely one to look at and wonder about. Moving on now to Everton. Well, boy,
Hmm.
what we gonna say about Everton? 2 seasons now fighting relegation. Yeah, away by the skin of the teeth twice, 2 seasons in a row. What you gonna be?
Yeah.
Where you feeling about Everton this season? You think that they're gonna be fighting relegation again, comfortable mid-table, or what
Ez-
do you feel about them this
Ezra, I'm gonna be honest. Everton is a football club or a modeling agency.
season? Everybody is they have some weird obsession with the fashion for real, boy.
Because last time I see the number 9, the boy was on a runway, and then same game week I hear the boy out for a month. So I'm not sure if this Everton is a football club. You know?
And that's just to say they had the most unfashionable manager out of everybody. So I understand that. Sean Dyche. Yeah, what's the Sean Dyche outfits on the match game week?
Oh, we call that the dad fits for everyone out there. Shout out all the dads locked on. But you all know what I mean, eh? You all know what I mean.
So you see what going on with Everton. In terms of proper picks, I would say there's nobody on the Everton side that you should be looking at for your game week squad. Plain and simple. There's such an unpredictable side. We're hoping that Sean Dyche could bring some stability to the team and probably bring a defensive aspect to the team where they can be the new Burnleys of the league. I don't know. The Burnleys of the old, not the new high pressing Burnley. The Burnley that used to lock down your defense and score one goal at a header and lock down defense. I know all you know about that Burnley.
I
So we
remember
don't
that
know,
Burnley.
yeah, we don't know if Everton going and be that team this season. We don't know if Everton going and be a team that going to be last in the Premier League. We don't know if Everton going and be a team that going to push for Europa League. We have no idea what to expect from Everton this season. In terms of transfers, they haven't been really active. They haven't really bring in no big names as to per se to strengthen. So you have to expect that they're going to have another struggling season. So that is why I will stay away from any Everton assets at the start of the season. In terms of wondering picks, I believe it have one player in the Everton team that you may be looking at, you may be wondering for in the Everton team, and that is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the fashionable, the model himself.
Wait now, Ezra. You are the model, the fashionista, Dominic Calvert-Lewin DCL, as you're wondering. Vic.
Yeah. The only reason is that is because of that. Is because I had a little bit of sympathy for him last season. He really struggled with injuries, and I know he tried really hard to come back, but last season was a season he really should have just taken off and recovered from his injury. So I'm hoping that he's fully recovered now, and that this season he could come and play a big part in Everton. Trying to stay up in the league and be a big part for Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche like a striker that can head the ball in. Thinking about Chris Wood, thinking about Ashley Barnes. That type of striker that Sean Dyche can get the most out of. So one to wonder about is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Not one to put in a game with one squad, just one to look at for the coming season.
Ezra, to be honest, I find this wondering pick kind of forced, right? I find it kind of forced, right?
So if you don't like him,
And not at all. Simply because I find like you're settling for, you mightn't see somebody in the club you like, so you're just going with what you have.
but think of it from this perspective: 6 million, right? Sean Dyche, a striker that can head the ball good. Come on, you never know what could happen.
Right, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But again, comment and call Ezra if this pick turns out to be what I think it is, and that is a flop. So now we move on to Fulham. Fulham. And people probably saying, all right, we just, this Everton and didn't give you all much information. What could we possibly have on Fulham? Well, let me tell you all something. I know a lot of people hate on the Emmy Martinez pick. Oh, how they can't spend 5.0 on a keeper. Well, I have another value pick for you all here. Proper player here for you all. I know Ezra know this guy in Burkland.
Yes. I love this guy.
He's priced at 4.5 million, 142 points last season, 8 clean sheets, conceded 51 goals, but also has an XGC of 62.75.
That is amazing. That is really good.
And I personally believe this guy has played better for the Cottages than he actually played when he was playing in North London for Arsenal.
That's because he's conceding a lot more shots now, and he's a really good keeper, and she's a really good shot stopping keeper. So yeah, Birdlado, Good player. Back to this XG conceded here. If you looked at last season, when me and Michael and we had a couple other friends and we created a draft league. My thinking, remember, you could only pick 2 keepers for the entire season.
I remember that.
Yeah, I picked
Remember that.
Burnley, knowing that he wasn't going to start, but eventually he's going to get his name in the team. He was too good to not be starting keeper of that Fulham team. And with his shot-stopping ability, he's a bonus point magnet. Um, as you can see from the XGs, he was supposed to, statistically, he should have conceded 62 goals this season, and he only conceded 51. So that means him by himself, seeing Fulham like what, 11 goals, which is huge.
Amazing, actually.
Yeah, so it talks a shot stopping ability, and yeah, proper thing. Want to watch?
Well, definitely. I know the 5.0 might be a little bit of stretch for some people again. So if you're looking for the 4.5 minimum entry goalkeeper, I think Burnley is your guy, and I put a stamp of approval on this guy as well.
Yeah.
And now the needle mover. I know a lot of guys were thinking this would be the proper thing pick. Or how could I have Mitrovic in the needle mover category? Well, I personally believe that Mitrovic is not going to be highly owned in game week 1. And this guy has the potential at any game and any week to score multiple goals. We've seen him score a penalty, we've seen him score headers, and we've seen he's the main man involved in everything that Fulham wants to do within the box. He's one who heads the ball down to the other players, who gets that, as I would like to say, that dog assist and all those things. But I would like to hope that this season he could clear up the penalties that he seems to not be converting. Well, to say some of his stats from last season, he scored 107 points. He had 14 goals, 2 assists, and an XGI of 16.62. And that is with him being suspended for, well, as we would say, a controversial incident versus Manchester United in a cup game. So,
discipline. You see how his discipline is. He's getting older now, you know, so he should get a bit more mature.
yeah.
But his mature, you know, all them Serbians and them is.
I know, but I would have loved to see him priced at maybe 7.0 or possibly, 6.5. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but at 6.5 he would have surely been in my game week 1 team. But at 7.5, I might look at that boy you called earlier in Nkunku, and we have a lot other forwards who are also in this price range. So Mitrovic is a differential who I think could be a needle mover. Again, a needle mover is someone who could shoot you up the ranks, but it has a chance that it mightn't work and it might dip a little bit. So for the aggressive players out there, Mitrovic is definitely one to keep an eye out for.
Alright, on to another team here, a big team in the FPL. For a long time now, one of the highest scoring teams in the Premier League, one of the most exciting attacking teams in the Premier League, and it's none other than Liverpool FC. Liverpool FC been a big part of FPL for the past, 5 years now?
Since Club's tenure, I believe.
Since Club's tenure, yeah, just scoring in goals, banging in goals. So, we're going to organize, we're going to analyze this entire Liverpool team here, tell you who's the one to pick, who's the ones to avoid. So, yeah, let's get straight into it.
Ezra, you have to be careful here. I have some friends, some big friends, fantasy players who's Liverpool fans. Shout out to my cousin Nick and Travis. I know you're locked in, so you're paying attention, Ezra. Extra pressure, yeah?
Well, let me see if I could do them justice to this Liverpool team, man. Liverpool starts off the season with Chelsea away, Bournemouth at home. You don't know how that does go, or what I went last time, and Newcastle away.
Points and more points.
Yeah. So fairly, I wouldn't say the easiest set of fixtures, but fairly capable for a team like Liverpool. So two players that we highlighted from the Liverpool team, the proper things pick is firstly Mohamed Salah. The king of FPL for the past couple of years since that record-breaking season in his first season in the Premier League, 303 points, I believe.
Nasty stuff as well.
Yeah, nasty stuff. The king of FPL ever since then, coming in at 12.5 million this season. Last season he scored 19 goals and 13 assists with an XGI of 28.04. So, I fully expect him to come out again this season. Although he's getting along in age, you can see that he lost a little bit of his pace and stuff like that. But still, I still believe that he'll get himself in good scoring positions. And Salah don't afraid to shoot. That's one thing we for sure. And penalties, you're like a penalty player.
In basketball, we would say this boy do not afraid to jack it up.
Yeah, he's shooting from anyway. Once you see the goal, this guy trying to go for goal. So yeah, I fully expect him to be another big player, another big part in the FPL season 23-24. So yeah, look out for Salah if he's not in the game week 1 squad. And you just look at you decide to go for some other big hitters, because you know we can't have all the big hitters in the squad. We have a budget to work with, but definitely Salah is one to look at, and don't tread too lightly on Salah. Don't doubt him this season, because he has potential to hit you in a lot of different ways. Another player from Liverpool that we are going to highlight as a proper things player is Trent Alexander-Arnold. This is a controversial one because what? This is the record price for a defender in FPL.
The highest points I've ever seen for a defender, Ezra, to
In
be
my
honest.
ever-
8.0 million.
8.0 million. 8 million for Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's a big price tag. But we believe with his new role in midfield, he believes that he would pay back those points. Some people, a lot of players, coming up to the end of last season, they hadn't played more of a higher position in right midfield. I personally, my opinion on this, and you hear your opinion after, Michael, is I don't believe that he's going to play that same role with Szoboszlai coming in and getting that more attacking potency in the midfield. I believe he will go back to his natural right back position. We know how he's such a terrible defender and such a good attacker, but still, I believe he just have to work it out, have to get better in his defending. But at this 8 million price, I don't know. I'm not sure if he'll be the guy to justify this 8 million price points. We have to see, but all indications is that he'll be another dangerous player this season. What's your thoughts on Alexander?
Well, here's the thing, Ezra. When you think about defenders, premium defenders in FPL for the last 3-4 years, the first guy that comes to mind is always Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he started at, I believe, 6.5, then 7, 7.5, and now 8. And every season we have the same conversation to start the season. Is Trent Alexander-Arnold worth the price? And at the end of the season, we have all come to the same conclusion. Trent will burn you at some point. The question is, at what point and when do you have it?
True that.
And I believe Trent, as you said, he might not play the same position he played last season. But my question to the audience and also to you, Ezra, is can this boy be a standard right back? Can he defend?
Can he? I mean, but he's a professional footballer getting paid millions of dollars, eh?
But
so we're hoping that he can do it.
From Micheal and Jadon Sancho and these guys also had big price tags, get paid millions of dollars, and they have yet to justify these prices. Trent has proven that his offensive ability is elite, while his defensive ability seems to be lacking. And Klopp seems to trust him so much into the midfield. But as you said, Szoboszlai, that's his name, right?
Yeah, Szoboszlai.
Adds another dimension into the midfield. So maybe Trent has to play that right back role. My concern is when you pay 8.0 million for a defender, you expect clean sheets.
Yeah, for sure.
Can Liverpool get those clean sheets?
Well, that's the other question. That's the other side of it. We know he has attacking potential. He'll score the odd goal. He'll get those assists. But is Liverpool going to get enough clean sheet to justify that 8 million price point? Or is there better options out there for you to spend the 8 million? We have him in the proper things category because, again, he will be highly owned this season for sure. He'll be highly owned. He'll be highly sought after. And if in that game week 1 he has a big score, and you do not have Trent Alexander-Arnold in your side, you can kiss goodbye to that $10,000, right?
And this is the thing about Trent Alexander-Arnold. His price tag is so unique is that you have to build your team to cater towards this kind of player.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to jump from a 5.5 defender or a 5 million defender or even a 6.5 million defender to Trent. You will take multiple moves to get this guy in.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
do you believe in Trent game week 1 or not? We clearly do. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, proper things, Liverpool FC.
Yeah, exactly that. If you don't start with Trent in your side and he gets a big hole at the start, and now you're rushing to bring him in, you might have to make 2 transfers, take a hit, might have to make 3 transfers just to get this $8 million defender back in your side. So Trent Alexander, proper things, game week 1 should be in your side unless you're a big risk taker.
Talking about big risk takers, Ezra, who would you say is the needle mover for Liverpool FC?
Needle mover is the guy that you want in your squad if you're a risk taker and you want to get that big rank sway at the start of the season. There's a guy we call him Luis Diaz.
The new number 7.
The new number 7 of Liverpool. Last season, you know, we all know how exciting he was when he came in the January transfer window and completely transformed the attacking team. This season, he had a struggle with injuries and stuff last season and didn't really get enough play time to get going and score goals and be a big influential part of that Liverpool team. But he looks fit. He looks like he's back on track in his fitness. Hopefully, he could go an entire season injury-free. And I believe at this point, at this price point of 7.5 million, Luis Diaz could be a real needle mover for your side.
Well, here's the thing about Luis Diaz that I love, Ezra. He is clearly the starting left wing for Liverpool, and we know how Klopp loves to play through those two wingers, going back to the days of one Sadio Mane. So I believe that Luis Diaz is the guy to look at game week 1 if you want to be aggressive, take some risk, and possibly lead your league at the end of game week 1.
Yeah, and at 7.5 million against Chelsea away, we don't know how Chelsea defense would look at the coming start season, so you know, a really good risk to take. Bournemouth at home right after that Chelsea away fixture, and then Newcastle away. So yeah, if you're really looking to take a risk at the start of the season, Luis Diaz is one to look at. Now moving on to the spilt milk here. Firstly, we're going to talk about Diogo Jota. Coming in at 8 million, that is a high price point for this player. We all know he's such a good attacking player, especially coming down to the end of last season. He really playing a lot of work, looked really sharp, looked like he's just going to be getting in those goal scoring positions. But at the price point, 8 million, we believe that has a lot more players in Liverpool that could use those 3 spots. You know, you only get 3 spots per team for your team, per Premier League team for your FPL team. So we don't believe that Jota is the best use of one of those spots, especially at that price point at 8 million. Not saying that he can score the couple goals and get a good few hauls through the season, but especially with so much attacking options within the Liverpool team, we can expect him to be rotated. Yeah, so we can expect Nunes to get a lot more playing time at the number 9 position. So yeah, he might just be a player to come off the bench and get a few starts in between. But I don't really see him being an integral part of the Liverpool team this season. So at that price point, I say he's one to avoid.
Well, Ezra, I told you be careful, but I have a bonus spilt milk candidate here for you, and I know you're not going to agree with me on this one. I know fans going to say, wow, look how far he fell. And that's one Andy Robertson coming in at 6.5 million. And I know a lot of heads now are wagging and people are saying, all right, time to turn off this show. This is nonsense. But let me defend this quick here.
Let me hear defense because, let me hear this defense.
Well, we've just spoken about Trent Alexander-Arnold's role. Now, is he going to be the traditional right back or is he going to be inverted into midfield? Question is now, I believe that he is going to be playing more in the midfield position, which means Liverpool will have to either drop Dominic Sazwala back into a centre-back position, or Andy Robertson will have to now cater for that inversion and play more deeper, which will limit his offensive ability. And at 6.5 million, I need a guy who is up there whipping in crosses, spraying the ball and looking for the attackers. And Andy Robertson, I don't believe will have the same role he had previous seasons. So, spilt milk candidate, it's funky, Ezra. It's funky.
Well, I have a completely different take on that. My view is that Trent is not going to play that midfield position that everybody is expecting him to play. My reason being, Klopp is a very, very good manager. We know he's a world-class manager, one of the best in the world at doing this. And I genuinely don't believe he is going to take the risk of having Trent Alexander play in a midfield position and having 3 so-called centre-backs. So let's say the 2 centre-backs of Liverpool and Andy Robertson jumping in as a 3rd centre-back. Come on, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I think Klopp sees it as well. I think he's going to go back to a traditional back 4 with Alexander and Robertson on the left, Alexander on the right. This is what he won the Champions League with. This is what he won the league with. And, you know, I don't think Klopp is a guy that is going to have a person of quality like Andrew Robertson who could, you know how he does whip them balls in the box with that left foot. I don't think he is ever going to allow that part of his game to be suppressed just because he wants Alexander-Arnold to go a little bit more forward. I don't think that's a smart move to play from a managerial perspective, and I think Klopp sees it and he's not going to do as well. So I expect Andrew Robertson to just be a $1.5 million cheaper option to Trent Alexander-Arnold this season.
All right. When we hear a big disagreement here, but we'll have 3 game weeks to see how things shake off, and I'll make this bet right now for a cup of Starbucks, Ezra.
I'll make that bet. We on.
Right.
Andrew Robertson. Let me see who will get the most points in what? The first 5 game weeks?
5 game weeks, fair enough.
Alright, fair enough. First 5 game weeks, we'll check in who has the most points between Robertson and Alexander. I'm Team Robertson, Team Alexander.
Alright.
Nice. So moving on to the wondering picks. The players in Liverpool that you might be thinking about getting, but you're not so sure for game week 1. And well, there's only have one player that we can talk about here. The man who does wear Timbs and play football. Darwin Núñez.
Number 27, 27 hunted.
We have nothing more to say about Darwin Núñez. Remember the start of last season, what the debate was for the Premier League?
Who's better, right?
Núñez versus Haaland. Who won that debate?
That was kind of like Germany versus Brazil in the 2014 World Cup, right?
So Darwin Núñez coming in at 7.5 million this season. Last season scored 100 points, 9 goals and 5 assists with an XGI of 14.81. Gets himself in so much good positions, has so much good chances created for him, but just doesn't seem to be able to put them away as efficiently as a guy like, let me say, Harry Kane. But we never know. Once the chances continue flowing and he continues to put himself in good scoring positions and he works on that finishing game, I believe Darwin Núñez could be a big FPL asset. Just from the eye test alone, anybody who goes by the eye test in FPL could know that Darwin Núñez is one that could score. He could break the FPL record for most goals, most points scored in a single game week. But he could also break the record for the least points scored in consecutive game weeks. So Darwin Núñez definitely one to watch. I believe he'll get better this season. He'll get a lot more game time this season. And hopefully he could work on that conversion rate and the finishing in his game and become a good player, a good FPL asset to all of us at 7.5 million. 0.5 cheaper than a lot of strikers out there.
And Darwin Núñez is that guy that you just never know. As Forrest Gump used to say, he's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So Darwin Núñez is definitely a wonder pick, or a wondering pick as we call it. And well, maybe if you go for him, he could be a nail mover, maybe not. But Darwin Núñez, kind of like the John Cena of FPL right now. Controversial character for sure.
Yeah, wonder what. So Liverpool, we expect Liverpool to come out better this season than they did last season. Expect them to challenge for the title. Klopp is not really a manager that will stay down for too long. So yeah, just keep an eye out on your 3 Liverpool assets. Remember, you could only have 3 players from Liverpool in the team at any given point in the season. So be careful with the players that you pick and for future moves if you want to move between Liverpool assets. So yeah, just keep an eye on that during the season.
Okay, well, Ezra, I think you should take the next one time, because I kind of want the team after this one.
Yeah, no problem. Luton Town, the big talk at the town, Luton Town, the small stadium. I think we all see the videos circulating, how his Premier League matches going to be played there, what the atmosphere is going to be like. All these things, we have a lot of ideas about how Luton is going to be. But the truth is that we really don't know what to expect from Luton Town this season. They could either survive and be this amazing team with good fan base, or they could just be the worst team in Premier League history ever. Beaten back Derby with the least points ever.
You know what they remind me of, Ezra? Back in primary school, it had this thing called a wonder bag for $1.
Yeah.
You buy it and you just don't know what you're going to get.
Don't know what to get.
Sometimes you get the crazy ball or the balloon and all those things. I think that encompasses Luton perfectly, yeah. Luton Town, just by its very nature of being a newly promoted side, may or may not have some really good value picks within the ranks that would develop and we'll see during the season that we would definitely be covering here at Proper Things throughout the season. But as of right now for game week 1, there isn't a lot to talk about in Luton Town. But we have one player here that we are going to highlight as the Proper Things pick.
that you may be considering for game week 1 for your bench, because you know you always need that one player in the back, as we said with Bailey before and Bayer, is we always need that player on the bench that could do a job for you. So one player from Luton Town that might make a game week 1 team as a bench player is coming in is Amari Bell, coming in at $4 million this season. He looks like the talisman in that defense, in that Luton defense. He looks like a player that is going to be starting game week in and game week out. He's going to be a real core of that Luton defense. We're not sure how the defenses work. I expect them to be a little leaky, but you never know.
Leaky?
Yeah, you never know how that home stadium will be with their crowd support, the loud noise and how it goes.
I'm going to tell you something. This is not FIFA where 3-0 is Chrome, you put down the control and that is it. Please go to the full 90 minutes plus stoppage time.
Yeah, I know that. But don't tell your eyes on Luton Town. I really expect that they could be a surprise. They really could be a surprise in the Premier League this season. So one player I'll be looking at in defense is Bell as a $4 million defender. You need to have those cheap options that could do a job for you whenever you need it. So yeah, I'll be looking at Bell. Nobody else really from Luton Town to highlight at the moment for a game week 1 squad. So yeah, look at Bell during the course of the season. Make sure and keep close eyes for them, as some value picks may emerge from Luton Town. Now moving on to the next team, and I have the prefect guy that you all want to talk about here. The team with 119 charges against them for fair play, and the champion, the treble winning team of last season. So let me give it up and let me hear for the champions, and let me see what this guy talking about here in FPL for the current champions. None other than Man City.
Well,
Micheal, you want to take it away?
Well, Ezra, why you had to bring up the charges for?
No, we always have to bring up the charges because it's charges.
I could say anything about you.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a charge.
I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we need Samantha Irvin from WWE to introduce this team, I believe. The champions, the treble winners. My team, Manchester City. There's a saying in business and in every walk of life. As Truman stated, the buck stops here, but the proper things pick is that buck. The one, the only, the record breaker. 14.2, this guy comes in at.
Is that the record for the highest price of a FPL player?
For me, yes. Because Salah, when he broke the record, did not come in at this price.
Yes, 30 million.
The one, the only, the Norwegian monster himself, Erling Haaland. I mean, what more athletes can we say about this guy in real life football, in fantasy football, on the field? I mean, first season, a lot of hype coming in with this player. Is Darwin Núñez better? Is Erling Haaland a Bundesliga merchant? And what did he come in and do? Just simply break the record for most goals in a season, most fantasy points in a season. And guess what? This guy rarely plays 90 minutes in the Premier League.
No, he don't have that fantasy record. Don't take it for yourself. Remember Salah, 303 points. That is what he still have to break. That is what record he still have to break.
Well, Ezra had a Greece. It's my team and I have the Greece.
Well, they do all the fact check. Yeah, they do all the fact checks.
You see why good to always have the boss in town? But I mean, come on, 14.2. I mean, this guy could be 15.2 and he would still be a bargain.
True that.
I mean, look at the current ownership. It soars above 80% already. And the game just launched this week. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 90%, 95%. As I said, the buck stops here. If you're looking for $10,000, if you're looking to win money, if you're looking for banter, whatever you're looking for, you need to have this guy in game week 1. No more statements about that. I mean, whether you're a novice, an intermediary player, or a professional player, Erling Haaland needs to be in your team in week 1.
For sure. I agree with you. Especially with that starting fixture. Burnley, away Vincent Kompany, he's going to come back and have a point to prove, but I just don't think he has what it takes at our first season.
And my last selling point, FPL starts on Friday, not Saturday. The first game, Manchester City versus Burnley. And I know in Trinidad, you like to watch all your game and go online Friday night. If this boy not in your team and you see 4, I feel like you're staying home and sleeping and saying, way boy, I wonder if I could not play fantasy this year. I could delete my team and start a fresh team in game week 2.
People going to ask me for refunds and things for the league, no refunds until the league start.
So we cannot say enough. Please, we begging all. We never beg all the whole episode. Please have Haaland in your team game week 1. All right.
I definitely agree. Erling Haaland is going to be a a monster again this season. Don't forget how old is he? Only like what, 20, 22, going on to 22. So he's only going to get better. I remember Terry on was telling him to work on his weak foot. I wouldn't doubt if he's in preseason working hard right now on that weak foot and comes out with another way of scoring goals next season.
This guy, he's just ridiculous, and I have no doubt maybe he even breaks his own record this upcoming season.
Okay.
So we'll see. It's his first season, and you know what they say about strikers, they only get better with more time and more ability to adapt to the league, and this guy is still adapting. That's the scary part. So Erling Haaland, proper things pick Manchester City.
Proper thing, yeah.
So now I move on to the needle mover. I know I could list a lot of players here because there's something in the fantasy world called Pep roulette. I mean, it's the same theory behind all roulettes. You pick the right number and it comes up, you win. You pick the wrong number, you're in the corner sulking. Pep has this knack of just picking midfielders at whim. The Pep way of doing things.
We feel to play the day. You just wake up and close his eyes and choose.
So while the needle mover is, you know, something sustainable for Manchester City, I must say this is a game week 1 needle mover.
Yeah.
This is where I think the roulette is going to come up big and your number is going to fall. And the first name, yes, I have 2 in the needle mover category for Manchester City is the one, the only, Phil Foden. Okay. I know. People got burnt in the back half of the season with this guy. They got burnt bad. He was predominantly on the bench, you know, making fantasy managers angry, making them sad, as his counterparts just racked up the points in Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, etc., etc. But Gundogan is no longer in town, and Kevin De Bruyne is nursing an injury which is expected to help him miss, well, unfortunately for me, the first part of the season in August.
Yeah.
Which means Phil Foden is that guy to take the snaps in midfield.
Yeah.
And we all know this, Ezra. Once you're playing in midfield for Manchester City, points going to come.
Points going to come, for sure. Assist and goal just because of the sheer amount of chances they create as a team.
And at 7.5, I mean, what more do you want? This guy has to be the number 1 needle mover for me, and that's not just bias. That's a fact.
But I like to call him the bootleg Saka.
You know what? Micheal Solomon 632 at gmail.com. Send my email if this pick doesn't work out. You see, they didn't have it before, but now they have it.
Alright. So don't hit up the proper thing, sure. That's Micheal specific pick. So if I see Phil Foden on the reserves for game week 1, I'll let them know who to message.
Alright. And now we move on to the second needle mover. Yes, I have 2 for you. A defender coming at 5.5. A legacy 10x. That's my fantasy team name. Icon, John Stones. I mean, what more can I say about this guy? He is just phenomenal. And he's not the typical centre-back, ladies and gentlemen. This guy now plays in the CDM role. And we all saw him in the Champions League with the most successful dribbles in that game.
Yeah. Beast. Absolutely.
I mean, we've talked about Trent Alexander-Arnold before, but maybe this guy is the new Trent Alexander-Arnold. He is no longer centre-back. He is redefining the position. He's in the box. He's in the wing. He's making passes. He's scoring goals. And if you look at Manchester City's schedule to start the season, I think there can be a lot of clean sheets. So this guy is going to rack up the clean sheets. He's going to rack up the bonus points. And he's going to bless everyone who follows his pick with a few returns in attack. What do you think, Ezra?
Yeah, I know. I mean, how Pep makes players so much better. So I would fully expect that next season, John Stone, you know, he took more of a defensive role this season, playing inverting into that midfield and securing the backline a little bit more. But under Pep, I expect him to evolve again this season, playing the same role, but also getting involved in the attacks a little bit more. And in doing that, hopefully, he gets a couple more assists, gets a couple more goals, you know, the 1 or 2 goals in between. And yeah, hopefully improves that attacking side of his game, and he would definitely be a really good needle mover, a really good player to get to rank up in game week 1.
All right. You know, I don't think we should have a spilt milk category for this team, but you know about biases, and you have to be honest with everyone. So the spilt milk picked by unpopular demand for me is the man I used to call T-Rex Hands, but now he's a boss in goal. Edison coming in at 5.5, the goalkeeper for Manchester City. Now, Edison, for me, has one big, well, problem when it comes to FPL. We do not concede enough chances, so the saves will not be there for Edison. And at 5.5, that is a big talking point into whether he's worth his price.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know there's a saying in FPL community from last season, one shot, one goal. That's how Manchester City, play in defense. They could lock down a team for 85 minutes, and then one through ball, a guy gets a shot on goal, and it's in the back of the net, and everybody mad.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Man City just doesn't concede enough chances for your goalkeeper, for the goalkeeper to save to get those valuable bonus points. We know that the goalkeeping position is a position that you wouldn't get a lot of variance between players. So the little points, the little 10 points, the little 3 points, those make a big difference in your goalkeeping position. So and especially at that price of 5.5 million. I really don't think he'll be worth it. There's a lot more keepers out there at cheaper prices that would get you those clean sheet, that would get you those bonus points, those odd bonus points as well.
And we also have someone who I hate to mention in this category, but my boy Kevin De Bruyne has to be in the spilt milk category this season, Ezra, simply because of that injury worry that is, well, worrying fans like myself. The latest news coming out from Sky Blue is that Kevin De Bruyne is going to miss August, and we'll have to ramp it up for September. So it's like having a Ferrari that you just parked in the garage and you don't have the roads to drive in. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to steer you all clear of our fantasy staple, I should say, for the last few years.
Yeah, I would say a staple, but I also believe, and I want to hear your opinion on this as well. I believe that Kevin De Bruyne is coming to the end of his no, seriously, coming to the end of his reign of being a real top line player for Man City, a real world class player. I mean, he's going in age, he's getting along in age, and we see from evidence last season how his ankle is giving him so much trouble, and that is only going to get worse. That injury is only going to progress more as he gets older. It's not going to be something that is just going to fix miraculously, and I believe that would really affect him in his performances for Man City coming up. So I really believe the Kevin De Bruyne era is coming to an end, and probably soon enough as this season. This could probably be his season where he falls off.
That just gives my chill down my spine thinking about the Kevin De Bruyne era coming to an end. But since that topic is not really making me happy, we'll move on now to the wondering pick. And well, you ever hear about a player who just goes through a patch where he just doesn't do anything worthwhile? Then all of a sudden, 8 goals in 6 games, and it's like, wow, I really missed the boat on this guy.
Yeah, he's one of them players. Yeah.
I mean, fantasy managers know who I'm speaking about. The one and only Riyad Mahrez, who's coming in at 7.5 million this season. I mean, what can I say about this guy? It's about timing. Like cricket, it doesn't matter how well you play the shot. If you don't have timing, it's not going to work out. And I think Riyad Mahrez is, well, the perfect wondering pick. Because if he starts at right wing game week 1, I think this pick has the ability to just, well, captivate and propel you to the top of the league from the jump. But you don't want to be there at a Friday evening having him in your team and then see him on the bench. And that's why I think you have to just wait and see if Mahrez indeed beats out the competition to the right wing position. The perfect guy for the wondering pick for Manchester City.
Yeah, exactly that. Mahrez, he's just one of those players that when you have him in your team, he just never scores points. But if you can take him out, it's 2 goals and an assist.
16-point haul.
So yeah, definitely in the wondering pick, you just need to catch the right timing,
Well, Ezra, I feel like we're going to take a little spin for the next team, because some people in Trinidad say they're the biggest team in England, best supporters, most prestigious team, blah, 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 blah. I just know them as a team that's playing red. A small team who ain't really winning Premier League since a certain manager leave the club. So I think I want to make that spin and leave this next team up to you.
Yeah, I can take over this one here. We don't want to biasness on proper things here. Obviously, we're talking about Manchester United. Finished 3rd last season. valuable Champions League spot. They did really good to get that, winning the Carabao Cup and losing in the finals to Manchester City, obviously. So, decent first season for Ten Hag. We could see that Man United could build upon this, possibly, or they could not build upon this and get even worse. We just don't know what to expect. But from an FPL point of view, there's a lot of players here that we need to highlight that would play a big part in this season here. Firstly, for our proper things pick from Manchester United is Bruno Fernandes, the guy that came in January, like 2 seasons ago, and took FPL over by storm. A guy that just keep on overperforming his stats. That would hurt if you don't have him at the right times. What more can we say about Bruno? Last season, 8 goals, 9 assists, with an XGI of 20.03. So around his numbers, not overperforming so much this season. Total of 176 points. If Man United is to push again for another Champions League spot and fight on those fronts in the Premier League, he would definitely be another big part of this second season for Ten Hag. He would be an important player in that midfield, pulling all the strings. Hopefully they get a clinical number 9 in, where he could provide assists and get his assist numbers up and provide a lot more bonus points and assist points for us as FPL managers. If those things work out at his 8.5 million price points, he'd definitely be one to look at in the midfield. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes, a proper things pick. Another player that we want to highlight as a proper things pick is Luke Shaw. Played a couple of different positions last season, playing in left centre back for Harry Maguire. You know how that story goes right now. Not sure where Harry Maguire might end up come at the start of next season. Also played in the left back, but he looked like one of the most secure and strong defenders in the Premier League last season. A big part of all those clean sheets that Man United got last season. So I expect him to be good again this season. I expect him to come back, improve on certain things. He's still a mid-range player. I can't call him an old player as yet. He's a youngster from the scene coming up in Manchester United. I expect him to improve under Ten Hag, and at his price point of 5.5 million and his 12 clean sheets that he got last season, I expect him to be another FPL asset for your defenses this season. Luke Shaw.
I've nothing really to add in, Ezra. You could continue.
Yeah, I don't know you don't want to talk about the good things about Manchester City, about Manchester United. So one needle mover that we'd have to highlight here for Manchester United is the guy Marcus Rashford.
Rachel,
yeah, Marcus Rashford. The reason why he's not in our proper things picks and in the needle movers is because of his price. His price is 9 million this season. Last season he had a big price drop. He was like 6 million or 6.5.
I believe.
Yeah, 6.5, which made him very easy to get into your team when he hit form and he was scoring goals. But this season at 9 million, he'd be a lot more difficult to fit in your midfield, especially with such high priced midfielders and forwards and attacking options. So yeah, so I expect his selection percentage to be a little bit on the low side, but he has potential to give you a high rank drop at the start of the season if you do decide to spend that 9 million on him and take a big risk on him. He scored 17 goals last season and 7 assists, yeah, with an XGI of 18.13 and a total of 205 points, breaking the 200-point barrier. So potential to be very good again this season. The main man still young, well, relatively young. People like to put him in the category of a youngster, but he's relatively young still. Room to improve. So hopefully he comes out and be a big needle mover next season. Well, this season coming here. Spilt milk. I know you don't want to have your input in this one here. The spilt milk.
Smiling like the great.
Yeah. I want to talk about the spilt milk. But we have one player here that we have to highlight for a player to avoid from Man City. We're talking about the most expensive winger, one of the most expensive wingers at the time when they purchased him, and I'm none other than Jadon Sancho. Underwhelming to say the least. Last season, this season he come in the game at $7 million a midfielder.
7 million too much.
7 million too much. He scored 6 goals and 3 assists last season. Very underwhelming, 105 points. with an XGI of 8.15. Sancho, we believe that he's going to be another flop this season. I really can't justify him hitting form and coming back just because I never saw him show that potential before in the Premier League. So definitely want to avoid that 7 million. What you have to say about Sancho?
I'm putting this out on a poll. We need a poll on this show, Ezra. I need a Manchester City fan base to come through here now. Jadon Sancho, if you have any Manchester United fan right now in Trinidad and Tobago or in the world that could defend the performances of Jadon Sancho right now? I mean, if Flop needed a picture for the last, 2-3 years in the Premier League, I know people like to blast your guy, Nicolas Pepe.
Nah, even worse.
But Jadon Sancho has proven to be even worse. I mean, the hype surrounding this guy, English. Well, I believe only the English passport is saving this guy.
Yeah, only because he's English. If he was what, Spanish, he'd be on his way to China already.
Well, you know,
Saudi Arabia.
this guy is what we call in the business a dead baller. I mean, it's over. We're thinking Jesse Lingard kind of player right now. And Jadon Sancho should be nowhere near your team, nowhere near the team next to you, or near that team, or the next team next to them.
Yeah, exactly. I think this might be his last season at Man U. Behind some big miracle where he turns into a player where he kind of looked like at Dortmund. But yeah, other than that, I believe this is the end of the road for him in his Manchester United journey. Not to say that he wouldn't go to another club and perform well, but yeah, I just think that this is the end for Jadon Sancho this season.
It's just over, people.
Yeah.
That's all she's going. The fat lady is singing, as we would say.
Moving on to the wonder picks now, the players that you might be wondering about, that you're not sure. And the only place we can start is the number 9 position for Man United. Since last season, we've been saying that number 9 position, if filled by a quality striker, could be a real good FPL asset. But since then, we haven't seen anybody fill that role, you know?
And no, I mean, Lukaku was there for
Well, yeah, we already know about Manchester United number 9 situation. If they get a quality number 9, you know that player will be really good in the FPL, score a lot of points. At the moment, not linked with any big names besides the Haaland fella.
And no, ladies and gentlemen, he's not the next Haaland.
Yeah, everybody said he's the next Haaland, but as of right now, we could only do it what we see. And the number 9 that looks to be set to play for Man United next season is Anthony Micheal, coming in the price of 6.5. I believe he could be a good differential pick, but it's one to just wonder for the while. It mightn't be a game week 1 player that you want in your squad. So yeah, that's why we have Anthony Micheal as the wonder pick from Manchester United.
Totally agree. Problem with Martial, if he's fit, maybe he plays. Chances are, though, he's not fit. So we'll see.
We'll see how that goes.
Moving on now to Newcastle. The new kids on the block. Saudi money in, Champions League confirmed. 4th place last season. So who is the proper thing pick for Castle? Well, unfortunately for Castle fans, they have a brutal schedule to start the season.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they did have the record. I think it was 1,000 minutes in the Premier League last season without conceding a goal.
Without conceding a goal, they are really good defensively.
Well, we have to start with the budget option. Surprisingly, FPL has given us a budget option in defense in one Sven Botman at 4.5 million. I think this is a defender, Ezra, that you have in your team and you pick and choose where to play. Like, if the game is easy, you plug him in, collect 6 points, and you walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
If the game is hard, put them on your bench.
And with that price, 4.5, a starting centre back, did so good in Newcastle defense last season. Definitely a proper things player.
And for me, he's locked on. So Botman, proper things pick 4.5.
4.5.
Moving on to the needle mover, one of my favorite players, Alexander Isak. He's not the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but he plays for Sweden. He's a forward that scored 10 goals, 2 assists, and had 100 points. Unfortunately, he had a serious injury which cost him at least double-digit game weeks, I believe, Ezra.
Yeah, of course. A little bit at the end, and also with Wilson in good form, of course. But we can't forget the skill on the line. Remember the skill on the line?
Thing of beauty.
Yeah, thing of beauty. Just for that alone, you should pick him.
And here's the thing about Newcastle. We know that they are linked with a plethora of players. Tonali confirmed. Maybe another big hitter comes in. question is for needle mover players like myself, guys who like to gamble. Where is Ezra going to play? Left or striker? My bet, gets the number 9 role and he scores a lot of goals. Unfortunately, again, his schedule is brutal. So this one is with a pinch of salt. Or salt, as everyone says. Isaac, needle mover for Newcastle. And then we move on to spilt milk. Defensive superstar, Kieran Trippier. I mean, this guy was the highest scoring defender last season.
Yeah, how you have him in spilt milk, but a lot of people ain't gonna like it for this one now.
When look at the schedule, Ezra, I could see Newcastle not keeping any clean sheets in the first five games. Yeah, I think it's going to be problems for them to keep clean sheets. I know Trippier is going to do his things with the set pieces, maybe scores a free kick, but that would maybe does not justify a 6.5 price tag for me.
Yeah, really high price point this season, but I would kind of debate on that. I believe even with the fixtures Newcastle shows, even with Tonali coming in, which would show up the defense a lot more. I think Trippier might actually have some space to be a good asset this season, but we would agree to disagree on that one.
Alright, well that makes me believe Ezra has alternative plans for one Kieran Trippier.
Yeah, because if you watch him, 16 clean sheets, 10 goal involvements, with an X goal involvement of 12.88 and 198 points.
Big number.
Yeah, big number. So it's very hard not to doubt Trippier this season.
Well, my big problem again is the brutal schedule, so we'll agree to disagree on this one. Joining him is his counterpart Pope in spilt milk at 5.5, playing the goalkeeper position again. I could see a lot of goals going in during the first 5 games, thus making Pope a non-starter for me and a spilt milk option, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And finally, we move on to the wonder pick, or the wondering pick, as you know, we see it here, which is one Callum Wilson. And I know, I just said Isaac is going to be the starting striker, but Callum Wilson has a shot to make the position himself. And again, we have seen this guy score 18 goals last season with a XGI of 18.54 and 157 points. And he's a penalty taker. He's locked on.
Yeah.
This guy plays 30 minutes and he scores goals. Again, he's one of those guys that you have to keep your eye on. And if you hear word that he's going to be the starting number 9 for Newcastle, you have to have him in your team. But right now, he's definitely a wondering pick for us.
Yeah, exactly. Wilson, so good last season, but just taking with a pinch of salt this season. I'm not really sure about his starting place, you know. Newcastle is in a new phase of their development where they're in Champions League football and stuff right now. Is Wilson going to be the guy that they look to move forward with? We yet to see. So that's why he's one of the wondering picks.
And moving on now to Ezra. Tell me what's going on here with these next couple teams now.
Yeah. So after Newcastle, we have Forest. You know, big season last season, very up and down team. A very up and down team. Really not sure what the starting 11 will look like. That starting 11 could be a number of different players.
They could buy 30 new players.
They could buy 30 new players again this season. So really not sure exactly who is going to play where, who is going to be in what position. And that makes it very difficult from an FPL point of view. So at the moment, we're not recommending any team, any player to be in a game week 1 squad from Nottingham Forest. Definitely a team to avoid at the start of the season, probably coming down in the middle of the season, and as the season progresses, a couple gems might come out from the team. But as of right now, I'd say stay away from Nottingham Forest assets. But there's one asset in particular that we must highlight, and that is the starter. That is one of the starters that's sure to play every game for Nottingham Forest, and that is Morgan Gibbs-White, the ex-Wolverhampton Wanderers Hitman, coming at 6 million this season. Looks set to play every single game, barring any injuries, barring any niggles. So hopefully he could be the talisman for Nottingham Forest. And if they are to go the season without getting relegated and have a good season, he would definitely be a big part of it. So keep your eyes on Morgan Gibbs-White this season at $6 million. Also going on to Sheffield United. We know Sheffield United from a couple of seasons ago. Well, Burnley 2.0, the defensive masterclass that they used to put on. Everybody know about Basham. Everybody remember Basham? And the legend, Lord Lundstrom. Well, unfortunately, we have no Lundstrom this time around as Sheffield is in the Premier League. But we have a couple of players that we definitely need to look at Sheffield United. One of them being a needle mover. I wouldn't put this player in the proper things category, as he will not be highly owned, and he's a player that can really raise your rank. And that is Ndiaye, I don't know what it's pronounced. Ndiaye, yeah. sorry, Ndiaye, if you're watching this, I pronounced the name wrong. But very good striker, very quick on his feet. I had him in career mode, FIFA career mode. I'm sorry to keep on bringing it up, but this is how we just learn about players. I think that these smaller players, yeah. Very quick up front, 5.5 coming in this season. And if Sheffield United, if we expect them to play another counter-attacking style of football, he would definitely be the main striker up there that will be looking to convert those chances on the counter-attack. So definitely want to look at 5.5. And another wonder pick, we would skip over this spilled milk. As they say, we can't really predict exactly who's going to be the ones to stay away from. In general, you should stay away from most assets in these teams that you're not really sure exactly what you're going to get from. So we skip over the spilled milk team and say basically everybody else from the team that we don't mention is spilled milk from Sheffield United. So one wonder pick, one player that you should be wondering about, and not in a game week one team, is Bogle. There's a 4.5 defender. You know, you need to have those cheaper defender options in your team to ensure that you have a well-balanced team, especially if you want to have $8 million strength in your side. You need these 4.5s and 4 million that could do that job and get that 6 points, probably the 1 or 2 bonus points, you know. So Bogle is the one that we're targeting from the Sheffield defense. We're yet to see if Sheffield will be as defensively solid as they have shown in the past Premier League campaign, but hopefully they can find that form under a new manager, be a good defensive team, you know, defend as a unit, and we can get some points from these cheaper options in the defense. The next team here we see in here, Spurs. I feel, see how I do Man United? I feel you gotta take over the Spurs because I really have nothing good to say about this team.
Well, I don't know how you wouldn't have anything good to say about this team. I mean, the proper things pick is a fantasy staple, a fantasy beast, a fantasy god in one Harold Kane.
Harry Kane.
You know, he comes in at 12.5 this season. I mean, the English Premier League record is in sight now. I mean, last season he came away with 30 goals, 9 assists, you know, and an XGI of 24.96, which he seems to always overperform.
Yeah, so clinically efficient.
And a whopping 263 points playing for a poor Spurs team.
Yeah, only if you watch it, only 7 or 8, 9 points behind Haaland at 272. Very under the radar.
I mean, this guy is fantasy personified, penalty beast, efficiency monster. I mean, words don't even explain how good Kane is in fantasy. Again, we highlight, you know, I must bring up Haaland, must have, but if you don't want Haaland, I guess you have to have Kane, which I do not recommend. But the proper thing pick for Spurs, if we had to have one, is one Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, yeah, you know, I'm expecting him to have a good season again. You see how the transfers work, you see linked with Bayern Munich, which I don't think he would ever go outside the Premier League. He's really looking for that record. I think that is probably, since a guy who doesn't win any trophies, he'd have to look for those individual records. So we'll see how the transfers go. More than likely, I believe he would stay at Spurs this season and go on a free next season. But we'll see how that plays out. And as of right now, he's a good FPL asset.
You know, Ezra had to bring up the no trophy thing. But you know what? We could stay holy and talk about that. But right now, we have a needle mover to pick. You know, 2 seasons ago, there was a Golden Boot winner in one Heung-min Son. Last season, though, he was Heung-min gone from a lot of fantasy teams. You know, so this season he comes in at astonishing to me in a good way, 9.0, because we were expecting Son to be what, around 10 million.
10.5, yeah.
So he is indeed a needle mover. Son last season only scored 10 goals, and he had 10 goals and 6 assists, 152 points. But if anyone has followed the Premier League, they know Son is a guy who misses chances, but then scores 4 in a game, 5 in a game.
Remember the 3 score against Leicester? Who had him for that game, right? All the OGs that had Son for that 1 week punt, we in this gang together, man.
Well, I didn't have Son, but I remember the 3 goals, and it hurt a lot. So, you know, Son, definite needle mover for Spurs. I know this one here now will bring a smile to Ezra's face as he spilt milk. Doesn't have a single nominee, but an entire cast, as they should say. Now we have even the goalkeeper involved here and all defenders in spilt milk.
Yeah, all defenders.
Means Spurs conceded 60 plus goals last season.
Yeah.
And I can see them conceding 60 plus this season.
60 plus. I wouldn't go anywhere near those defenders.
I know Ezra just loves that, so we'll just leave that as it is. Stay away from defensive options from Tottenham this season. And then the wondering pick is a guy who is just signed a week ago.
Yeah.
And James Maddison coming in at 7.5 million. I mean, this guy had 10 goals and 9 assists. Fantasy players will know him as the Foxes pick you had to have last season if you had one.
If you had one, yeah.
You know, this guy can score goals from, 25 feet out. But he could go missing again for 3-4 weeks. At Spurs, he's one of those guys that you keep your eye on, but you don't necessarily need to have game week 1.
Yeah.
But he could explode, and if you catch the explosion, well, it's only rank risers from you there, only green arrows as we say in the business.
Yeah.
So Maddison, 7.5, definitely wants to watch, and the wondering pick for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yes, to see what kind of Spurs player he's going to turn out to be. Is he going to turn out to one of those players that they spend the 100 million for bail from, or all flops across the board? Is he going to be a typical Spurs player, or is he going to be that one Spurs player that has just carried the entire side at certain sides? You have to see what kind of Spurs player he'll become, but we'll see what goes on this season.
And finally, we have the 2 last teams here, the 2 W teams, West Ham and Wolves. So,
Yeah.
Ezra, I know I'm not really feeling West Ham this season, but you have anything to tell the people here quick on them?
Yeah. Let me talk about the London club, another London club, the last London club here, highlighting here. West Ham had a difficult season last season, really difficult. But in the end, came and won a European trophy. West Ham is a European champion before Arsenal. Imagine those days. So they'll be playing in Europa. I expect them to bring in a couple bodies, especially with Declan Rice leaving. They should bring in a couple more bodies into the team, a couple good young talents. And it's really a kind of transition period for them, giving the younger players a little bit more playing time and stuff. And David Moyes is a really good manager. We already know he's a top-class manager. So hopefully West Ham could get back in that form that they showed a couple of seasons ago, where they pushed for a European place. One of the proper picks that we need to highlight from West Ham is Jared Bowen, the left footer that plays on the right wing. Coming in at 7 million this season, midfielder, 6 goals, 9 assists, with an XGI of 15.38 and 145 points last season. If West Ham is to find that form under Moyes again, he's going to be a big integral part of it again. On that left wing, we know he likes to take on players. He can get assists, get goals, hopefully the number 9 position, Micheal. Hopefully he looks like he's set for another season again with Skamaka underperforming. So hopefully they could get a number 9 that could put away a lot of goals and create chances. And in this, I believe Bowen will thrive, and he will become a good FPL asset this season. Some needle movers, so a player that you might be looking for from West Ham to help you get that big rank rise in the first few game weeks is Said Benrahma. A really good price of 6 million. Has the potential to play in that calm position. I believe that is where Moyes will use him. Came from the Championship a couple seasons ago from Brentford. Is a good attacking player, knows how to score goals, knows how to take on defenders, knows how to get the assists. So yeah, Benrahma is definitely one at 6 million to look at to get that big game week rise at the start if you're looking to take a little bit of risk. Michael was telling me off camera that he might be looking at Benrahma. We're yet to see if he really going to take that risk or if he was just talking. But
I pick up on the green there, but Benrahma is my boy, so it might get a little play from me.
Give it one. We'll see how that goes. But definitely one that could raise a rank, and because he will not be highly owned at all. So Benrahma one to look for. Spilled milk. Well, in this we can't really specifically point out one player, but we'll point out the entire defense on a whole. West Ham defense last season looked hopeless, absolutely hopeless. Yeah, no real fullbacks that could give you attacking potential. No real centre backs that would get that odd goal. Kera has been really underwhelming to the point where he's been out of the side, the big money side, and has been out of the side for a long period of time. We don't know what his situation will be this season, if he'd be able to come and show up that West Ham defense. But in general, we'll stay away from all West Ham assets this season, all West Ham defensive assets this season. And one wonder pick, one player that you should be wondering about and not having a game week 1 squad, but be looking at definitely, is the guy, the Brazilian Paqueta. Debut season last season, not really as proficient as we would have expected, because he played a little bit of a deeper role. We expect Moyes to learn from those mistakes, because most of the season last season they were actually kind of fighting relegation, with the relegation battle being so bad. So I could understand how Moyes might not have wanted to deploy him in a more attacking sense. But I believe this season, with the start of the new season, David Moyes would learn from his mistakes that he made with Paqueta last season, and he would be a more attacking option this season, and hopefully get in more positions to score more points, score more goals, score more assists, and be a good pick at the $6 million range for your FPL teams.
Finally, now we have Wolverhampton Wanderers, as people say. I'm not going to mess with talent here. Do not have a proper things pick for you all, because I'll be honest, we try to stay away from Wolf players, to recommend, as they have proven they are not really proficient in front of goal and defense. I'm not really liking the defense start this season. So we have a spilled milk candidate for you, and probably world's best player, I would say, Ezra.
Yeah.
In Sa. But the reason why he's in spilled milk is because at $5 million, coming in at $5 million, I do not think he's value for money, as they have better options at the position. And Sa and Wolves, I see a lot of goods at $5 million, and I think better option. You see, earlier we had Emi Martinez, and well, you can always put an extra point if you have it. And a guy like Allison, or at 4.5 good level, I think a better option.
Yeah, totally agree. And I don't think Wolves would be anywhere near how good they were a couple of seasons ago defensively. We saw that last season. They were kind of hopeless defensively. So yeah, Sa definitely one to avoid.
Finally, we have the wondering pick, and this is what we call the show spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
In one Podence, coming in at 5.5. This guy is a journeyman at best when it comes to FPL and points. He may go 20 games without scoring, and then in 3 game weeks, he might have 15, 5, and then 7. And then that's the time to cut him. The trick is though to find those purple patches. Podence is definitely one that should be on your radar and a wondering pick, but definitely not in your game if you want to.
Yeah, the low center of gravity does help him a lot too. One to look at.
Well, that brings us to the end of our 20-team spectacular. I hope you all had a great time, because I had a ball presenting it to you all. Special thanks to Starbucks for hosting us. The drinks were amazing, so you could come check them out at Extra Plaza in Shogunas. And we have more fire content coming your way. So like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We appreciate your support. And don't forget to join the TT FPL Pro-League. The deadline fastly approaches on August 11th. I know you have time, but time flies. So this has been episode 2, and don't forget to do proper things in all walks of life. Bye.